Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Uh, this week we have a very interesting parasha called Balak. And our sages are constantly asking themselves, why among all the parashas, this is the only one that basically is entitled or dedicated to something that is a Gentile and not a good Gentile. Let me put it that way. It's totally the contrary, an enemy of Israel. And here, what I would like to tell you is, I love political science, and I love international politics. And I always constantly looking at and checking in the news and all these things. You know, you are now familiar with the fake news, and you're familiar with so many things. But it is disgraceful, to be honest to you, to say the least, to see so many news agencies, and they are so biased, tremendously biased against Israel, you know, to the point that they lie. You know, just not long ago, Israel has been helping the Syrian people who have been massacred by their own people, by their own government. And they are putting hospitals, and they are giving food, clothing, and they are sheltering these people that supposedly they were enemies of Israel. And the people of Syria, these people who are fleeing from the areas of conflict, they realize that Israel were not their enemy. Their enemy is their own people who trying to kill them. You know, and this is the history is repeated by itself. But where have you heard in the news? Show me which news you have heard that Israel protects the Syrians, that Israel has put hospitals in the other side to save lives. Where? Israel. You know, you won't be able to read those things. What is telling you? Fake news. The news are sold out. And then when you watch news, you cannot believe what is happening. Well, here we have a situation. We have a man, a king, called Balak. Let me give you a little history about this Balak. You know, the name itself, Balak, already fills you with a little bit of, you tremble. Devastator, you know, destroyer. You know, that already gives you an idea. Now, according to the sages, this really is Balak was not really a Moabite. Balak was a Midianite, son of Sur. And then the Midian and Moab, because they were neighbors, they got together and they decided to confront Israel together. And they named him as the king because he was a strong, very dynamic, and very, very strong leader, devastator. Then he realized that by the news that they had we saw last week at the end of the parasha of the last week, you know, that Israel was advancing. And were advancing, and wherever they were going, anybody who will come in front of them, they were defeated. Can you imagine a nation of around from 3 to 6 million, depending who calculates the numbers, you know, going through the desert, going north to the promised land, and passing through? The Israelites, they received instruction by the Creator, blessed be his name, that Israel was not going to fight with their own relatives. And who were the relatives? You know, the Moabites and the Ammonites, you know, were relatives. You know, they were the Edomites. You know, all of them were relatives of Israel through Esau or through Lot. You know, they were related. Then, when in this way, they were very clear that when they were passing through their territories, what they were going to do, they will talk, they will try to peace, and they will say, you know what? We pay you for the water or for anything that we do, damage that we do to your land. We will pay you. We'll compensate you. But Balak say no. And all the Edomites say no. They needed to go around and they couldn't go straight. But because they were constraining themselves not to attack these people because they were told not to do it, they decided not to do it. Now, it's 3 million to 6 million. This is a huge number of people going through a territory. To what they call it the King Highway. You know, how you want to put all these people, and you need to a line that will be very long. But they were going to pass. They were not allowed. But also, Balak has heard. And that was the idea at the time. That they had a very powerful God that was them. And this powerful God was almost invincible. Nobody could conquer them. And they needed something very strong. At that time, also there was a belief that their gods, they were regional gods. That means the gods only worked inside the borders. If you get outside your border, your God was any longer powerful. This God for everyone that was okay, that was strong, to the point that will defeat anybody. And here we can have an idea even today. Israel has been always persecuted. Israel has been always a minority, wherever they has been. Israel can never be for only at the time that they think and their dreams at the time of King David and King Solomon. But there was a very short period of time of the grandiosity and was very limited, we can say, in the Middle East. But let me tell you, they never were as powerful as other civilization people, always Israelites, in other people, and they were always persecuted or limited. We know that, even today. The hate against Israel, the hate against the Jewish people is almost universal. Why? Well, you can make a lot of theories. But to me, the most basic theory, who do we represent? That's simple. The rest of the world are jealous. Hey, jealousy is a disease. And it's a disease that kills and destroys. When you are jealous about something, you are destroyed by inside. Then the people of Israel are following the instructions of the Creator. And they're going through, Moshe is leading them, say, don't fight with them. But Balak wants to stop it and to destroy them. Why? Will you ask yourself, why Balak wanted to destroy? Many people say it's because he was afraid that Israel passed through the land and they were going to, they say that they licked the land. Balak was a farmer nation, and they, and in this sense, in this way, they support each other and they have made an alliance. And they thought that if Israel passed, they will destroy all their land. That was one of the ideas. But the truth of the matter is that he has heard that Israel couldn't be realized, that the only way that he can do it is through someone who is as powerful as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And who less and no more than a great prophet, a Gentile prophet. A goy. And this is called Bilam. Bilam. I was taught to pronounce it there because Bilam. But okay. And this, his name? Nation without people. Okay? Person, self-centered, very looked to himself. Even that he was very gifted. And that was very clear that And the Torah, they call it that he was prophet, the God Almighty. And many of us, we question, how in the world they have such a prophet? And they are saying that the Creator gave them also a great prophet, they gave a great prophet as Moshe Rabbeinu to Israel. They gave a prophet to the Gentiles, Balaam. In that way, the Gentile nations couldn't complain and say, the reason that Israel is so good and they are done so great, because the Creator gave them a wonderful prophet. Now, the Creator has given them a great prophet, Rabbeinu and Balaam. In simple areas, looks like that even Balaam was more powerful. They say here, the one that he cursed was cursed, the one that was blessed, he blessed. Look at the power. Then Balak sent first one entourage in order, a second level, not too high, and send it to say, please help us and to do this. And basically, Balaam is enticed by the money and the power, the fame. And he said, wait here, I'm going to consult with the Creator. He consulted, he came back and said, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I cannot curse or do anything wrong against these people. And the Torah say, this is a blessed people. You need to understand this word. They're blessed. Because in a special way they say, they are special. By the way, now I want that you start, I am speaking to you in this way because I am creating in you something inside. Or you're going to like Israel, or you're going to hate Israel. Because we are human beings, we have this idea, it's not fair. It's not fair that they have more than me. It's not fair. Because we are always looking over the shoulder of somebody else what they have. And what they have more than me. And we cannot be satisfied. We cannot be blessed by what we have. And Mishlei in Proverbs say, what is a man who is rich? A man that is rich is the one that is satisfied with the thing that he has. But the rest of the nations, they look at Israel. Balak is only a picture of the rest of the world. And Balaam is the way that they use all these stratagems against Israel to try to destroy Israel. Lies, curses, trying to undermine the nature of this Israel. They go, and then when the first delegation came back to Balak, Balak is not happy. And then he sent a second one, higher level, more money, more things. And this second time, Balaam couldn't take it anymore. And he's struggling and saying, if I go, I have been told very clear, the Creator knows him better than he knows himself. Say, okay, Balaam, you want to go? Go. But I want to tell you one thing. You cannot say anything that don't tell you to say. Wow. He was put in a very difficult situation. In that moment, he could tell this group, the Creator is letting me go, but I cannot say anything that he doesn't say to me. He went. He didn't tell them. He's going to tell later on, but in that moment, why he went with them? Because in his head, what he was doing? Thinking two things. The first one, how am I going to get the money? And the second thing it is, how I'm going to keep my prestige, my fame, I am known as the most powerful man in the world. Whoever I curse is cursed, and whoever is blessed is blessed. No, and now I cannot do that. Then he goes. Look at the symptoms, how the picture in the Torah about humanity and human beings. Two things: power and wealth. You know, fame is all together. You know, yeah. And the people who are famous, what happened with the famous people? They are almost glorified. They are almost elevated to a level. You know, right now that we are going through the soccer championship, you know, how you seeing how they treat those superstars in the sports, you know? They are like a goddess. Well, let me tell you, this is the problem with humanity. And here we need to see ourselves and the world together, not to point it to somebody, oh, look at Balak and look at Bilam. Let's first of all look at ourselves. This is the reason I start telling you about the fake news and how Israel is seen by all these news organizations and how liars they are and how sold out to the popularity. Right now there is a city, it's terrible, in Spain among all the cities, you know, that they have decided that even that the European nations, the Union of States in Europe, they have said that the BDS, this action against Israel is not right. They have made a statement in law that is okay. And they're going against their own because it's the hate. Their hate is so big that they cannot think rationally. Let me go back to Bilam and Balak. Bilam is going on, and then he has a little female donkey. Is that? And I need to emphasize the term female, okay? Because it's a donkey's hard head. A female donkey is 3 times hard head. Okay? Okay. There's a female donkey. But now they are calling me chauvinist or anything like that. You have whatever. But that's not my intention. Was to emphasize certain particularities. Okay. And here, by the way, the most important is not about 3 times hard head. The most important is about how faithful, loyal, and that is a female donkey. Okay, loyal, faithful, okay, to her Lord, her master. Well, now he started kicking and pushing, and then and totally the contrary. The female donkey doesn't want to go against the wall, and say, and finally after what beat up so much, she say to him, "Why in the world you beat me so much?" Poor Bilam, the great prophet. Can you talk? And he say, you cannot see what is happening in front of you, and he cannot see. Picture this about Bilam right now. He's a prophet of the Creator. He's a sorcerer. He is a witchcraft. He is all those things, the hocus pocus. And a female donkey has more capabilities of seeing and talking than a prophet. What is the message here? What is the picture that you can take it? Because, we read so fast. Somebody asked me, can a donkey talk? And I say, can an elephant fly? Well, go to Walt Disney. But the problem was not if he can talk or he can fly. It's the teaching. This is the problem. Sometimes we become so punctiliar that we miss the points. It's what the Creator is trying to teach us. And here it's very important to see the Creator showing Bilam that he is in charge. And he can make talk a female donkey. He's not necessary. And he was blind. And he cannot see in front of his face. What he needs is a blind leader, leading the blind. And finally open the eyes, and he sees the angel with the sword. And the angel say, be grateful to the donkey, because she saved your life. Then he went back, and the story is, I need to continue, but I don't want to keep you so much with details. I want to give you now the overall picture. I like it, and comparing with today. Because it's important to see what is for us today. Many of us, I would say the great majority, we follow the news and we believe on those news. And we are so naive that whatever they tell us is published, could be in the newspaper, could be in TV, could be in the internet or whatever, and it's there, it's true, immediately. And we do not see, and we don't take the time to search and to look for the truth. Bilam was no good. Balak was no good. But they were powerful. And they were dominating at that time the little world. And the rest of the people, they needed to suffer because of them. And nobody will open their mouth and not say. Right now you have in the Middle East the worst leaders that you can have. From the Palestinian leader to the Syrian leader to the Iraq leader to the Persian leader to the Iran leaders. All of them megalomanos. And they only look for themselves. And that's what Bilam represents. Bilam represents the type of leader that is always thinking, what is for me? If the people looking is, look at me, how great I am, and how powerful I am. But it doesn't give anything in exchange. Only brings destruction to the rest. He keeps growing, but the rest keep going down. And Israel represents just the opposite. Being led by the All Almighty, blessed be Him. Now, what is the problem today with Israel? You see, right now I can tell you in a very honest way that sometimes I am ashamed of seeing in the news what Israel is doing because of the human rights or because of what is political correct. The Creator didn't ask us to be political correct, didn't ask us to be theological correct, didn't ask us to be sociological correct. But what He asked us was to be morally correct. And this is the problem that we have today. That is the reason that most of us, we have shut our mouth and we have allowed corruption go over the world. And to the point that now we elevate corruption as something that we need to look up. And what is right, we push it down and we persecute it. Now the values that we have today have changed so drastically. Like I have been saying so many times. What used to be right is now wrong, and what used to be wrong now is right. And we are allowing this and shutting our mouth. And this is what I call it the silent minority has been basically put something in their mouth. They have muscled their mouth. Because if you say something against what most of the people say, you become a bigot, you become a terrorist, you become something wrong because you speak the truth. Bilam and Balak represent those people. And we are going to see at the end who is going to conquer. And look at later on, at the end of this parasha, because basically Bilam was not able to curse Israel. And we are going to see in the next parasha with Pinchas this, but I'm going to give you a little bit more because there is something here. He is going to do some stratagem in this way. I cannot curse you, but I'm going to make that the creator, the Boreo land, punish you. I cannot do it, but he can do it. And how? Is the way that the Boreo land will punish Israel. When the Boreo land punish Israel? When Israel is doing right and good? When Israel is morally correct? When Israel receives the punishment of the Creator. And how is the punishment of the Creator? Things come to Israel. He can use a plague as he can use other nations. That is the history of Israel. Examine the history of Israel during the beginning, the foundation to today. And you are a good researcher, you're going to find a big truth. When Israel is being punished, or persecuted, or hated by other nations without a reason, the Creator is going to intervene and protect Israel. But when Israel is getting away from the Creator's 10 Commandments, from the Creator word, from the Torah, the Creator withdraw himself and allow other nations and other things to happen to Israel. He stopped protecting Israel. Right now we are in the middle of that. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell this to all the nations of the world. Don't rejoice too much. Yes, Israel is going to receive their punishment. But you cannot touch Israel if the Creator doesn't allow you. And you touch Israel, even if you are allowed, remember this, you're going to suffer the consequences for that. Don't ever think, don't even bring in a smile in your mouth, because you're going to suffer 3 times worse. We have time to think, and we have time to open our eyes. Israel doesn't mean only the blue blood, what we call it, the direct descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because you see, there are descendants of Abraham. They are not Jewish people either. They are descendants of Isaac. They are not Jewish people either. And they are descendants of Jacob that are not Jewish people either. But there are others that came after, and they joined to Kahal Israel. And there are the others too that has a big heart because they love the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they are serving the God of Abraham and Jacob because it's a calling. That's the true Israel. A symbiosis of two people chosen by the Creator. And the Bilams and the Balak do not have any power over the true Israel. But Israel today is not representing right now the true Israel. Your deeds speak for themselves. I'm going to repeat and end it with this. The Creator doesn't care about to be politically correct. The Creator doesn't care at all in being theologically correct. He doesn't care in any religion. Religion is our main philosophies and ideas of men to try to make their own gods and their own rules and their own regulations. What the Creator is caring about is what in Micah we just read in the Haftorah. Looking for mercy, looking for love, for to do right to the people, justice. He is looking for us to be morally correct. That means to keep the Ten Commandments in our hearts and to do what is right before the eyes of God. Bless all of you and have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom.